Hey, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
You ever been to a foreigner's country?
Is that how we say it? Foreigner's country?
Yeah, you ever been there?
Have I ever been there?
You ever been to one?
Yeah, I've been to many countries.
Nice.
Let's put it that way.
Which ones have you been to?
Boy, really prying this morning.
I just want to know.
Well, I'm not going to tell you all of them because not even the State Department knows all of them. But I have been to Japan.
You been to Japan?
I've been to Japan. Have you?
I've been to Japan as well.
Fun fact, I knew that.
Yeah.
About you.
Because we gone together.
We gone to Japan together.
We've been to Japan together.
We seen that country.
With Mr. Producer.
That's true.
Mr. Producer was with us. So this is actually Long Road Home Alone lore we're talking about here. The three of us went on a trip to Japan together. I have been to other countries, by the way, Canada being the first. I saw the first contact, Star Trek First Contact for the first time in Canada. Yeah.
Wow.
The first time I left North America, though, Japan. And that was with you and Mr. Producer. And we had a swell time, I think.
Now, committed listeners will remember that we three once went to Cincinnati and watched Tokyo Drift on TBS.
Yeah, which is the third in the Fast and the Furious franchise. And basically the only Fast and the Furious movie that I really like.
It's sort of the Mario 2 of Fast and Furious movies. It's really out there.
I don't like Mario 2, but I like Fast and the Furious 3. And I get what you were saying with it. You know, it doesn't feel like it quite belongs to the rest of the series.
Yeah. It's unique in its own way.
We loved Tokyo Drift so much that we had
to
see just say what you're going to say. Stop following me.
That we went to Japan.
We went to Japan. We went to Tokyo, Shibuya Square, whatever it's called, where they do the, they do the drift through the crowd and people are in the crosswalks. That's in Tokyo Drift. We went there. But we had a good time in Japan. I really enjoyed it. Visited Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. Yeah. All three cities, love them. Kyoto in particular. We had some really good times in Kyoto.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful city.
Tokyo, my favorite part of the city was Akihabara, also known as the Electric Town. It is an entire ward of the city of Tokyo dedicated to video games.
They have big skyscrapers that just say Sega on them.
And not just one. There are multiple skyscrapers that have Sega.
That say Sega.
Yeah, at the top of it. It is just an entire ward filled with arcades.
You would be forgiven as an American if you thought Sega was toast.
Yeah. You don't see Sega around anymore. Sega Genesis, that's the last Sega system I owned. They do still do arcade games, I think. They still make video games. They're still around, but they're really popular in Tokyo.
They still have skyscrapers.
The best part of our trip to Tokyo, though, was the genesis of this radio show.
Speaking of Genesis.
We would, for whatever reason, me and Joey Z just would not stop quoting Home Alone, much to the chagrin of Mr. Producer, who was just embarrassed about us quoting Home Alone all over the city of Tokyo, all over the country.
As well he should have been.
Yeah. It came to a head, though. I remember one night we had been to a few bars down in Golden Guy Alley, and on our return back to our apartment, me and you and Mr. Producer were in a crowded subway quoting Home Alone, and in particular, it was The Legend of Old Man Marley, which ends with Old Man Marley looking in the direction and us quoting, "Watch out, look out," and then quoting Old Man Marley's theme in this crowded subway.
And we said, well, there's no path forward but to take this to the airwaves.
Mr. Producer said, I hate you guys, but I'm with you.
And here we are today.
Uh-huh.
It's a little story about us.
Yeah, there it is.
Brave souls of the airwaves, this is Joey Z. We're broadcasting from the front lines of the revolution. Here we stand at a crossroads where the forces of control, they seek to stifle our voices and drown out our truths, but we are not mere echoes in the void. We are the storm. We are the uprising. We are the relentless tide of change that cannot be contained. Jimmy?
I agree with that statement.
Good. I really workshopped that one.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. You don't want to go over the top with it, but it's, you know.
I don't know. Could have used a little more enthusiasm, I think, like more pounding on the desk.
Right.
I know Mr. Producer doesn't like that because it screws with the mics.
He
but
doesn't like that.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
You got to find a middle ground, even in these trying times.
Yeah.
It's getting a little trying, I got to say.
It is. It feels like, I don't know, I've just got some bad feelings about what's been going on lately. And, just... We've been hearing things out in the woods that it doesn't sound like just nature. I mean, like even in the distance, I feel like I'm hearing some like anti-aircraft artillery or something along those lines.
Like shellings. They don't sound like the birds in the trees.
It feels like they're coming for us, whoever they may be. But
the choppers are back in the sky.
We've seen them
with
around,
increasing frequency.
I don't love it, but you know what? We're gonna soldier on.
We have but one choice, and that is to continue this pirate broadcast. For the better of all of Sheboygan and the people that we love.
And we are gonna start this broadcast with an apology. Actually, some corrections, okay? There have been a few episodes ago where I said a few things that may not have been true, and I just wanted to clear the airwaves for that.
This is important.
Yeah, okay. So a while back, I said that John Hughes, back when you gave me Mr. Mom, the VHS copy as a Christmas gift, I said that John Hughes disowned that film. That's not true, actually. The film I was thinking of was National Lampoon's Class Reunion. John Hughes is actually very proud of that film, and so if you are a fan of John Hughes, check it out.
Terrific.
The other mistake I made, I said Daniel Stern improv the whole Wet Bandits thing. He did improvise a lot of the features of Marv, and particularly like his fixation on the Wet Bandits, but the Wet Bandits thing, that was in the script. He didn't improv the Wet Bandits. So just wanted to get that out there. That egg has been on my face for months now. It's been pretty disgusting, but finally I can wipe that off and we can move on.
Great. Well, without editorial integrity, this show is nothing. So thank you.
Yeah, we got to stay honest. And we have to keep ourselves honest because no one else is going to.
That's right. That's right. So what are we talking about today?
We are boldly going where no one has ever gone before Chris Columbus did. Wait, that's not actually true. But we are talking about the director, Chris Columbus.
This is making a lot more sense now.
No relation to the explorer. I do want to point that out there.
I never thought about that. There was also an explorer named Chris Columbus.
Well, you may have been confused because Chris Columbus also owned a production company called 1492 Productions or Entertainment or something along those lines. And as you know, 1492 is a reference to
when the filmmaker Chris Columbus
sailed the ocean blue. And went from Ohio to Los Angeles and back again. There and back again.
Right.
Anyway, Chris Columbus, what do you know about the guy?
Man, what don't I know about the guy?
I can tell you what you don't know.
I bet you can. Chris Columbus, born in 1956-ish, I think.
I think so. That's right.
I think he's
58.
58. Okay, so he's 67 now.
Yep.
He was born in Pennsylvania, but he grew up in Ohio.
Yep.
Working class family.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Factory town.
Well, Ohio in general is kind of a factory state. So is Pennsylvania.
Especially back in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah. Youngstown's, I think, on the border to Pennsylvania. So you're talking like coal country America, really. Yeah.
He's an only child, I think.
He is.
And his parents, I think his parents were just both factory workers. They were blue collar working class family, which is
roots.
It's cool to see. You know, sometimes you really dig into the lore and the backstory of your favorite, directors, filmmakers, whatever, and you go, oh, well, they kind of were, a
little privileged.
They were privileged. They kind of had the money to do this. Oh yeah, their dad invested $75,000 into their Super 8 hobby or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, filmmaking in general is an expensive endeavor. And so
Inherently.
it kind of makes sense that it's sort of a rich man's game, rich
Yeah,
person's game.
yeah, it tends to be sort of inaccessible.
Yeah, but it is nice to see somebody come up, just kind of like from the bottom of America. Like Chris Columbus sort of represents a success story in the American dream. Grew
Yeah.
up working class roots, told his mom one day, I want to be a filmmaker. And his mom said, do it. Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
And then he did. And he succeeded.
Yeah.
Went to college at NYU, studied film, graduated.
Yeah, went to Tisch.
Yep, went to graduated 1980. I think one of the shorts he directed caught the attention of Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Didn't amount to much then, but that's going to matter down the line.
But old Steve knew his name then.
Yep.
And you gotta wonder how helpful it is to have a name like Chris Columbus to remember.
to help you steer your life by.
Steer your memories
Yes.
somewhere in your memories.
Yeah. Started out as a screenwriter in the film industry.
Right.
He had aspirations to be a director, but screenwriting was where he started. The first script he ever sold was called Reckless, released in 1984. He has since disowned it. Chris Columbus actually disowned Reckless. He was very unhappy with how it turned out.
Right.
He didn't like where the director took it. He also said it wasn't his best work.
Yeah. Never seen it. I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but the failure of Reckless is what inspired him to really put his mind to writing a new script. And that script ended up being a little movie directed by Joe Dante, produced by Amblin, a company that Steven Spielberg owns, and it is called Gremlins.
That's right.
Wrote the screenplay for Gremlins, sent it to Amblin, and Steven Spielberg liked it. Chris Columbus got a call from Steven Spielberg, said, I want to buy this. And thus began Chris Columbus's long-running relationship with Steven Spielberg.
Right. Boy, quite a connection to have as an up-and-comer in the 80s in Hollywood.
I mean, this is 4 years after Steven Spielberg made Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, Steven Spielberg is in his prime, and he has selected you and said, you are going to come work for me. And
you recent Tisch graduate who, has a feature that you've written under your belt, made a short in school that impressed Steven Spielberg, but really virtually no bona fides.
Yeah.
Here.
I mean,
he's going with his gut instinct on this kid.
Yeah.
He's going, this kid has something. I want to help encourage this.
Yeah. And so Chris Columbus went to go work for Amblin as a screenwriter. And he wrote 3 screenplays for Amblin. Well, the first one was Gremlins. The second one was Young Sherlock Holmes, which was directed by Barry Levinson.
Wow.
I think Barry Levinson directed Rain Man. Is that right?
Is that
Am I
right?
thinking of someone else? Maybe not. Don't quote me on that one. And then
and Goonies.
Goonies was the third one.
Right.
And that one went on to be an immense hit.
Right.
And so, this is where Chris Columbus got his start. And then he was about to go on to break out. He left Amblin after 2 years living in LA and decided, I want to be a director. And he went on to make the film Adventures in Babysitting.
Peter.
Come on, Kevin. Out.
Peter, Kate, do you guys have a voltage adapter?
Here's a voltage adapter.
You're getting heavy. Go pack your suitcase.
Pack my suitcase?
Adventures in Babysitting. I think this movie came out in
88?
88 or no, 87.
87?
87.
Yeah.
Heartbreak Hotel was 88.
Right.
That's right. So Adventures in Babysitting came out, kind of like mixed reviews. I don't know. It feels a little bit like a cult classic. I remember seeing it as a kid. So this is the first PG-13 movie that Disney released.
Wow, that's a fun fact.
I didn't know that until recently. And I don't know, it's a little like, it's not raunchy, but like the babysitter, I think like a big plot point in the movie is that the babysitter may have posed in an issue of Playboy as a centerfold, and that's constantly being referenced by the two teenage boys in the movie. And so I remember seeing it as a kid and just thinking I was being treated to something that my parents probably wouldn't have been happy about. But I remember it being a fun time. It's basically like an odyssey. A bunch of young kids are just going across the city of Chicago, seeing some of the darker sides of it. You know, it's like kind of an unbelievable adventure of them like delving into the criminal underworld of this city, and then like having to get back home before the parents do at the end of the movie still actually matters after they've come up through all of this stuff.
Kind of a Ferris Bueller feel there.
It's funny you say that because the screenwriter actually said he read the script for Ferris Bueller's Day Off and he wanted to make a film just like that. So heavily inspired by Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Got mixed reviews, but I think Chris Columbus like got the attention of some people, and then went on to make the movie Heartbreak Hotel.
This is an odd one.
What's the plot of that movie?
I would call it sort of a Mary Poppins story, but with domestic violence and rock and roll.
Yeah. So Elvis would be the Mary Poppins type character, kind of like inserted into this life,
right? And sort of like magically create some problems magically.
Yep.
The main premise is that you've got this teenager who has sort of a rough life, rough family home. His mom is in a bad relationship. Mm-hmm. He's in a rock band.
She runs a boarding house.
Right. Yep. Yeah. He's in a rock band, but they don't get any attention. They don't get to play at the Gong Show or something.
Yep.
And so they decide to kidnap Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
It's very fantastical.
Yeah.
My biggest question about this film is what weird fantasy is Columbus fulfilling with this one? Because he wrote and directed.
He did write and direct this one.
This is his first foray into writing and directing his own work.
Yeah. I don't know where this one came from, you know? It feels like he was pretty passionate about it. I know after the fact, it flopped, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It didn't do very well. It was, I don't know, I think Columbus considers it to be like the biggest failure of his career, probably.
Really?
It was
I don't think anyone's ever seen it. I mean, I would have never even heard of it if it wasn't
if you weren't such an enthusiast of Chris Columbus. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would have seen it either. Stars David Keith, not to be confused with Keith David.
It definitely doesn't star Keith David.
Yeah,
if it had, it would have made very little sense, but it would have been way doper.
Yes. I don't know. I walked away from that one not thinking too poorly of it. I think I went in knowing what the reputation was for it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, you know, this isn't so bad. Like, it kept me entertained throughout. There's some funny moments in it.
Yeah, it's not a total dud. It's just, I think more than anything, just completely lost to time. Yeah. I don't think anyone remembers this movie. I don't think it has much of a reputation.
Yeah.
I also think that and this is something that will come up again for me, at least with some of Columbus's work, but I think it's just a trash title.
Yeah.
I don't understand the title at all.
Yeah.
He's naming it after an Elvis song. It's an Elvis reference, but there's no Heartbreak Hotel in the movie.
No.
So it's the first of a handful of examples.
Maybe the kid's mom's boarding house is the Heartbreak Hotel. It does get transformed by Elvis throughout the film.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the film, it basically looks like one of his concert stages with like colored lights shining over everything.
Maybe. It's a stretch if so. I don't know.
The failure of that film, though, led him to meet with John Hughes. And this actually came about because Chris Columbus and John Hughes were represented by the same agent. And after the failure of Heartbreak Hotel, the agent suggested maybe you should talk with John Hughes. I feel like you guys are going to hit it off. And if you do, maybe he'll pass you a script and say, I want you to direct it. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how Chris Columbus came to almost direct Christmas Vacation.
That's right.
And then he met with Chevy Chase, who was a complete to him.
He said that he couldn't, and I think we've talked about this before, but he said, I can't work with this guy. He treats me like complete trash.
Yeah, and this is at the lowest point in Chris Columbus's career. He had just come off a flop. He was desperate to make a new movie.
Right.
And still, I cannot work with that man.
You don't get, you're not going to get a whole bunch more breaks. You have now you've written 2 big hits.
Yes.
But this is under the Amblin banner, right?
Yep.
Now you have directed 2 films that haven't done a lot. You don't get a lot more opportunities here if you're Chris Columbus.
Yep.
Maybe you get one more. If it doesn't do well, you're probably back to writing scripts.
Fortunately for us all, John Hughes took it in stride. He said, you know what? If this didn't work out for you, maybe another project will. And a couple months later, he sent Home Alone across Chris Columbus's desk. And Home Alone, if you have not seen this film,
you have got to see it. It is an absolute classic.
It's really good. We don't have much to say on it, but it's good. Check it out.
Definitely.
After the success of Home Alone, which actually was a major success, one of the biggest blockbusters that's ever existed, one of the highest grossing films that's ever been made, Chris Columbus then went on to direct Only the Lonely, starring John Candy.
This is... Okay, now here's another one. And here's another one, wrote and directed it.
Wrote and directed.
Bad.
Not a great track record so far.
Bad title, Chris.
Yeah.
Only the Lonely. Bad title. And clearly he is just naming it after, that's Roy Orbison, right?
Yeah, I think
Roy
it
Orbison's
features
song.
in the song, maybe.
He features a song.
Yeah.
It's not justified to name the movie this. That's not my biggest gripe with it, but I just need to air that grievance. It's a bad title for a movie.
My biggest gripe with it is that it's boring as
It
is a really boring movie.
It's pointless.
Yeah.
I think in a word, it's pointless, and I think it wastes John Candy.
Yeah, I feel like it's got its moments. I like this relationship with John Candy and his mom a little bit. The whole movie is basically about John Candy trying to woo Ali Sheedy into a relationship, but he lives with this overbearing mother, and he's constantly worried about it.
Pathologically overbearing. She's mean.
She really is cruel. She's incredibly racist.
Yeah.
She has, I don't know, she does have an arc. She does improve by the end of the movie. She lets spoiler alert.
Yeah.
She lets John Candy go. It's got a few moments, but overall the movie is just not my style. And
There's some weird stuff where they're in the bar, and these old barflies bring their dead friend in because they promised him that when he died, he would have his last drink at this bar, and they're just like with a corpse at this bar, and it's all very lighthearted, and the tone of this movie is indecipherable. Yeah,
the humor just never really landed for me.
I don't even think it's really a comedy. It feels more like a sort of like it's not a heavy drama, but it feels more like a romance story with
could be
like pitfalls,
kind of a romantic comedy type film, maybe, but
it's pretty serious and it's pretty drab.
Yeah. Also, Macaulay Culkin has a cameo in it. So does Kieran Culkin has a cameo in it as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So Only the Lonely. If you're really wanting to check out all of Chris Columbus films, there it is. But I don't think we give that one a recommendation. The next film he went on to direct was the sequel to the box office smash hit Home Alone, and this movie was called Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. And oh my gosh, we have not even seen this movie yet, and we're gonna check it out sometime in the coming months. But right now I don't really have anything to say about it.
I've got a copy on HD DVD burning a hole in my HD DVD shelf.
All we've got is a VHS player out here, so as soon as we have access to that HD player, we're gonna check out Home Alone 2. And you know what? It was a box set. It actually included all of the sequels for Home Alone, including the one released last year. They got that on HD DVD. Can you believe that?
No.
Okay, maybe it's not true.
So I want to pitch something to you. I believe that we could both define our own proverbial, shall we say, Mount Rushmore of directors.
Ah, okay. Four of our favorite directors.
Yeah. But I want to make it interesting. I want to see if we can guess each other's favorite directors. Let me start.
This is totally unfair. There's no way I'm going to be able to guess your favorite directors.
I'm not so sure. Do you think I'm going to be able to guess your favorite directors?
Yes, mine are just incredibly obvious.
Well, I don't know. Okay,
wait. Can I start? Because I believe there's one that is on both of our lists. Sorry, I screwed up the game show. Okay, I told you should be host between the break, and then I took it away from you.
Okay, if you want to guess mine first.
No, let's just call this like Double Jeopardy or something. Okay, this is like a special point in the game show, but we happened to pick the square that it was on first, and so we haven't gotten into the game proper yet. And so for Double Jeopardy, I'm imagining that the one director that is on both of our lists is John Carpenter. Is that true?
That is such a terrific guess. And I could not be more surprised myself to reveal that no, John Carpenter is not on my Mount Rushmore of directors.
You motherfucker. Well, I gave myself away. Punishment. There, I gave one away. All right. Obviously, John Carpenter's on mine.
So let me guess yours.
All right, do it.
John Carpenter.
Yeah, he's one of them.
I was already going to guess that.
Okay, good. Can you prove that?
I can.
Oh, okay, cool.
Steven Spielberg.
Yes, sir. Steven Spielberg is on there.
I knew I had those two.
Because I said it was going to be obvious.
Now here's where I get into the weeds a little bit. Ridley Scott?
Ridley Scott is on my Mount Rushmore.
All right. I got now this one.
This last one's going to be tough because it was tough for me too.
This one's the real wild card. Can I have two guesses?
Yeah, I'll give you two guesses.
Richard Donner.
No. Richard Donner? What? Which films did Richard Donner do that made you think that?
Okay. John McTiernan.
No.
All right. Who's your fourth?
My fourth is Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
It was a really close call because there are a few others that I really like that like just edged out. But I think it came down to I like too many of I love too many of Quentin Tarantino's films not to put it on my list.
Not to put him on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. And so P.T. Anderson was really close. I'm a huge fan of Boogie Nights. Huge fan of There Will Be Blood, but Quentin Tarantino just edged him out. Just a little bit.
What was your methodology here?
Just kind of a gut feeling, I guess. I don't know. I knew John Carpenter and Steven Spielberg right off the bat. And Steven Spielberg, I don't know. I feel a little bad about picking him, but he has just made so many films that I really love.
You love.
Yeah. And it feels like people often take him for granted, because he just knocks it out of the park so many times that you're just like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's got these many, E.T., Jaws, Close Encounters, Raiders, Indiana Jones, like Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. Like, those are monumental films and they're all over the place, and he does them all so well, in my mind anyway. So yeah, he's up there. John Carpenter, I love pretty much every film the guy put out in the 1980s. Like, how could I not include John Carpenter on my list?
I love him too. I couldn't be more surprised myself.
Well, yeah. What was your method?
Make the cut.
He didn't make the cut. What was your methodology then?
Well, mine was a little bit different. So I had a lot of difficulty. I have a lot of directors whose works I think I really love. And when it comes down to defining that Mount Rushmore, I couldn't really decide. So I had to make a methodology. I said, first, I needed to have seen at least 5 of their films for it to be a large enough sample size. And then I did a weighted rating system. So if they made a film that I consider one of my favorite films
of all time,
which there are many, but it's a tight list.
Yeah.
That's worth 10 points. Then if they made a film I think is great, it's worth 5.
Oh.
If it's good, it's worth 3. If it's not great, it's worth -1. And if it's downright bad, it's worth -3.
Wait, so a director's entire filmography counts against them if they made like 10 terrible films and then 3 amazing films?
If I've seen all those films.
Oh, okay.
We're not
You
counting.
had to have seen them.
We had to have seen
that
them.
makes sense.
And also, if I've seen it, but I don't remember it well enough to rank it, that's excluded from all totals.
Yeah.
So the total weighted score is then divided by the number of films rated for the weighted average. And so the absolute highest score possible would be 10, in which case I would have seen at least 5 of the director's films, and every single film is considered a favorite, which obviously is not happening.
Oh.
So, and this is pseudoscientific because the weighted values are pretty arbitrary.
Yeah, I kind of just went with gut feeling, but you really took this assignment very seriously.
It proves something out here. I actually have a top. I have a top 12, but you know.
Yeah.
We'll limit it to the 4.
But before we reveal them, are you happy with the list you came up with?
Well, I am. I actually like that I did this because I think it revealed through the data things that I know are true but couldn't have arrived at with my gut alone.
All right.
So
well, let me take my guesses here.
Yeah, I'll give you 5.
Oh,
you
boy.
gave me 5.
Goodness. So John Carpenter, I struck out on, but I gave one away, so that doesn't count against me, right?
Okay.
Oh, I don't think it counts against.
You can have 5 more.
All right. Brian De Palma.
Yes.
Brian De Palma's on there.
Brian De Palma is my Roosevelt.
All right.
He's number 3.
Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder, yes.
All right.
He's my Jefferson. He's number 2.
Coen Brothers.
Coen Brothers, amazingly, did not make the cut, but they are ranked at 6.
Oh, okay. Where am I going to go from here? Jeez. You're not a big Kubrick fan, I don't think. So he's
That's
not
true.
on there. Yeah. I'm going to guess Steven Spielberg. Is he on there?
Spielberg is not.
Okay. Steven Spielberg. You're not a Scorsese fan. Goodness, who does this leave? You're not a Coppola fan, really. Not
I'm
much
not.
of a Coppola fan. If they're older directors, I'm not going to know them. You're not.
They're not. These are my remaining two.
modern.
My Washington and my Lincoln are both directors you know.
Okay. Paul Verhoeven.
That's such a terrific guess, but no.
Oh, how many more guesses do I have?
I think you might be out of guesses.
I think I'm out of guesses.
I think you might be out of guesses. So you're gonna freak. My Washington. Rated
This is number 1.
This is number 1, rated at 5.9 on the scale.
Oh my goodness.
Is amazingly, and I never would have called it, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, that was actually my next guess.
I mean, I love it. I love his work, but I never realized he was going to come in at 1.
Which films punched him up to the list?
Well, I think what really put him over the top is that he has made 2 of what I would consider my favorite films.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Inherent Vice and Boogie Nights.
All right, yeah.
Every director on the list had 1 of my favorite films.
I see.
But only P.T. Anderson had 2.
All right.
So that's what bumped him up.
That makes sense. P.T. Anderson. Should have guessed that one earlier.
My Lincoln, this is where you're really going to flip, is Quentin Tarantino.
Oh my God.
So you were right that we shared one. You just didn't guess the right one.
I actually never would have guessed Tarantino. I feel like you've always, I don't know, any conversations I've had with you about Tarantino have always been a little cooler, but I do know you like Hateful Eight.
I do. Well, and Jackie Brown is one of my
Jackie Brown
favorite
is also one of your
films.
favorite films.
So that bumps him up.
Yeah.
John Carpenter, who I love, but when push came to shove, and I had to say, well, yeah, I love that movie, but it's good, not great.
Wow.
Right? This happened a lot.
You couldn't pick 2 movies that you loved from John Carpenter?
No, I did.
Oh,
I
you did? Okay.
Yeah. But ultimately, he came in 9th, right below Robert Zemeckis, and right above Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Near Dark. Pretty good one.
Near Dark. Really good.
Yeah.
Really great. I want to thank you so much for playing this game because I think it's been really revealing.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you're happy because you won.
Are you sure Richard Donner isn't on your list?
Richard Donner is not on my list.
It's like a number 5.
No, Richard Donner's not on there. Robert Zemeckis should have been on my list, but I didn't think to add him because he's made some films I love.
Zemeckis dropped in the ratings because he was one of the few who's made some movies I love, but who also has made some movies that I had to say are bad, such as Christmas Carol.
Yeah. You're also not a fan of Forrest Gump.
True.
Yeah.
She's right, Kev.
Excuse me, puke breath. I'm a lot smaller than you. I don't know how to pack a suitcase.
Hey, I hope you didn't just pack crap, Jeff.
Shut up, Lenny.
Do you know what I should pack?
I was told you, cheap face. Toilet paper and water.
So going back to Chris Columbus, I also did a little bit of ranking with his films, thinking about his filmography, and I actually kind of surprised myself at my rank of my favorite to least favorite Columbus films.
Oh, wow.
That I've seen. Director.
Yeah.
As director.
Yep.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
And what I was most surprised by, I do think that ultimately Home Alone has to be number 1, but such a close second is Mrs. Doubtfire. I really love that movie, and arguably I think maybe it's a better movie than Home Alone. I'm not saying it is, and ultimately Home Alone remains my 1. But it's like a photo finish.
Home Alone is my favorite Chris Columbus film. It's the one I've seen the most.
For sure.
Mrs.
For sure.
Doubtfire, I think, is objectively his best film.
Yeah.
It is so polished. The humor in it is just like nonstop all the way. I don't know. His partnership with Robin Williams just like really works in that movie.
Big time.
And I remember him talking about working with Robin Williams. There were people who would say he's often difficult to work with because he improvises so much.
Right.
He just thinks stuff on the spot.
And Columbus had a ton of trust in that. He said, let's lean into this. You are what's going to make this movie magic.
The way he described working with Robin Williams on Mrs. Doubtfire is they would do like a few takes where it's just do the scripted stuff and then we'll have fun with the next like 5 takes. So do what's in the script, and then Robin Williams, you can do whatever you think is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
And he said he could always rely on the actors on set. Sally Field was able to play off of, all of this improvisation. She was able to keep up with him. And he said that was a tremendous help that, Robin Williams could do his own crazy thing and Sally Field was just able to keep up with him and give it right back to him.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Robin Williams is hilarious in that film, but some of the funniest moments are actually Sally Field's.
Yeah.
Like I
as the straight man, as sort of the foil, she's really good.
I love that moment at the end when she figures out that it's him and she's like, the whole time.
Yeah.
Mrs. Doubtfire's great. Love Mrs. Doubtfire. I think that is that's a real high point in Chris Columbus's career, and I still enjoy it to this day.
Same.
The next film he went on to make was 9 Months. Another writer-director project. This is the third.
Yeah. I mean, no freaking comment other than Tom Arnold. I'm a big Tom Arnold apologist. I think he's totally underrated. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm going to say about 9 Months.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. Actually, no, I do. Jeff Goldblum is pretty enjoyable in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I did enjoy Jeff Goldblum quite a bit. But overall, didn't really care for 9 Months. And this is the third movie with Chris Columbus as a writer-director. And I tend to find that I think I prefer films where Chris Columbus is either the writer or the director.
Yeah.
I think maybe what happens is that he just gets a little too attached to the material. He can do a great job at one or the other, but when he's balancing both, I think he gets in that director chair and he's still got that writing cap on.
He's in like Final Cut mode from being the writer.
Yeah.
Might be a little precious about the material.
Exactly.
9 Months comes, I've seen 11 Columbus films. I've seen more than that, but I can remember pretty well 11 Columbus films.
Yeah.
9 Months comes in at 10 on my list.
9 Months is really low down there. I do think I disliked Only the Lonely stronger. And even still, Bicentennial Man, That is my least favorite Chris Columbus film. And I can...
I did not watch Bicentennial Man, but I did watch the trailer on 1.5 speed. And all I need to know about it, now I know a trailer is not a movie, but they used You Sexy Thing by Hot Chocolate in the trailer, and I was like, nah.
The humor in Bicentennial Man is, it's too long, it's too boring, its reach exceeds its grasp. Is that the right way to say that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you mean.
It felt like it was reaching for high-minded ideas. And like Chris Columbus even said, like, I wanted to do a sci-fi film, and he felt during the process he was overwhelmed by it. It was too much for him. And I don't know, you definitely feel it when you watch it. So Bicentennial Man, not a great way to end out the Robin Williams trilogy, but it had a good start with Mrs. Doubtfire.
Now, we would be remiss not to talk about Stepmom, because this one is one that you really like. And this is one I hadn't seen and that you insisted that I watch, and I did. So
all right.
Tell us where you come in with Stepmom.
I mean, I really like it, so maybe I should know how you feel about it before I bare my heart and soul.
Well, okay, all right.
This is one, okay, I will say the reason I said that is because this is one that I feel like, knowing you as well as I do, is just not up your alley. I get the sense that this isn't the kind of film that you would really like. I think there's too much sentimentality in it, too much, like, I don't know, lovey-dovey stuff. It doesn't feel like it's your thing, but maybe that's not the case. How did you feel about it?
Well, in a word, I would say that Stepmom for me was interminable. I think Susan Sarandon is amazing in it.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie deserves her.
No.
I try to imagine anyone else in that role and the film having any sort of impact, and I just don't have the imagination for it. Now, the runner-up, I would say, is Jenna Malone. She's 12 years old, and she gives a great performance for a child actor.
Yeah.
So some credit there, perhaps, to Chris Columbus. But I just think what this movie really has going for it is actually a really strong cast.
Yeah.
I think the whole cast is really good. I can accept the premise of the movie, but for me, it really overstays its welcome.
Yeah.
There's not nearly enough that happens to justify the 2 hour and 5 minute runtime, which kind of surprises me that you were willing to accept a movie like this that runs over 2 hours. But I don't know. For me, it felt all over the place.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't help that it has 4 writer credits on it, but ultimately, I get the premise, I get where it's coming from, but the sentimentality feels belabored to me. I'm not sure I really believe it.
I can totally buy that as a valid opinion. Nevertheless, I love Stepmom. It is my 3rd favorite Chris Columbus film.
Wow.
I really love Stepmom. I like the incremental relationship between Julia Roberts and Susan Sarandon. It's this difficult situation, and right off the bat, like, Julia Roberts is just hated by most of the people in her inner circle, and it's just her husband that likes her. I like that this relationship gradually becomes like Susan Sarandon hating Julia Roberts and them like just being at each other the entire time, particularly on Susan Sarandon's part. It feels like she's, I don't know, bitter over where this ended up, and she doesn't like the idea of this young woman coming in and being such a big part of her kids' lives. But over the course of the film, you see them all, everybody who doesn't like each other, making gradual steps, just trying to work it out and trying to move closer and trying to see better things. And sometimes they take steps backwards even. But when those moments happen, when you see Susan Sarandon reaching out and trying to say, oh, it's cool that you do this, and then like in another scene in the movie, like pulling something back and saying, no, you can't have that. That's mine.
Yeah.
The film ends tragically with Susan Sarandon succumbing to cancer. It doesn't happen in the film, but it's about to happen.
Now, I do want to give you a little admission here. I watched an hour and 55 minutes of it. I didn't watch the last 10 minutes of the movie because I had some place to be.
Yeah.
But it was obvious to me where it was going.
Yes.
And that is really a downside. So you say she died. Yeah, obviously she dies. I didn't need 10 more minutes of this movie to tell me that Susan Sarandon's going to die. And I just had some real pacing issues with it.
Okay, the pacing I can't speak to, okay? Like, I totally buy that. The ending, I think, is a huge payoff for the film. I love the ending because it's Susan Sarandon meeting with Julia Roberts at the end of the film and saying, I'm going to die soon, and you are going to be the mother of my kids for the rest of their lives.
They already had that conversation.
I don't think they had it quite to that point.
Yeah, but I knew that was going to happen.
Well, yeah, that's because it's where it was leading to naturally.
Yeah. It's so long. There's all these scenes of them riding horses up in the Hudson River Valley.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hate it. It came in ultimately for me at number 6, right below Home Alone 2.
All right.
Which somehow is my 5 because I don't know.
Stepmom, check it out. We get 1 thumbs up from The Long Road Home Alone.
That's right.
1 thumbs down.
That's right. And 2 middle fingers in the air.
All right. I know we're nearing the end of the episode now, but I think we have to at least touch on the topic of Harry Potter.
Big time.
The first 2 Harry Potter movies were directed by Chris Columbus.
And here is sort of his next Home Alone, really, where he once again is at the helm of a global blockbuster.
I mean, this has to be the biggest budgeted movie, the 2 biggest budgeted movies he's ever been a part of.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, most of his stories are just small, self-contained.
Yeah,
and
sort of family stories.
Now he's creating an entire world from the books.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about those first 2 Harry Potter movies?
I thought a lot about it. I don't have like a ton of love in my heart for those first 2 movies nowadays. But looking back, I think I actually really respect what he did with the subject material. He had a big hand in casting. I think the casting is solid. I think the vision of the world that he brought to the screen is really good. And also as a producer, subsequently, he passed the torch to Alfonso Cuarón, which I think is a crazy choice for a Harry Potter movie on paper.
Yeah.
And he ended up just making a terrific film. And that was really a Chris Columbus choice.
Yeah.
So for me, looking back, Harry Potter 1 is, in a sense, very near the top of my list for Columbus films. I think he did a great job setting it up.
Yeah. There's something that I think goes underappreciated. Azkaban is my favorite of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
But I go into that movie knowing that Chris Columbus made 2 movies before. All of the cast was set. All of the creative decisions about what the castle looked like, those were all made. And Cuarón was then able to build on top of that.
Right.
And I think that Chris Columbus made a really believable world. I do think there are flaws here and there. I think the greatest flaw of the first 2 films is that he tried to adapt the books straight to movie. I don't think he quite did what Cuarón did or what Peter Jackson did with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is to actually adapt them to a different medium.
Yeah.
It felt like he took the books, put them straight on screen, and a lot of the moments in the books don't really work in film for me. And that's where I think Azkaban has a strong, and Fellowship of the Ring and the other Lord of the Rings film too, is because those screenwriters and directors took a few liberties. And so Azkaban in particular, I think the humor in Azkaban is great. And the first 2 films, it's not really there because the humor's not in the books.
Right.
That was added on by Cuarón and the screenwriter. They decided they wanted to add more humorous elements. The world in Azkaban feels much more real and lived in.
It's a big job to start this beloved global phenomenon and take too many liberties.
Yeah. And
so wait.
What? You're in the middle of a broadcast. You can't cut us. Sheboygan! He broke my glasses! He broke my glasses!
Broadcast live from our studio in
Undisclosed location.
The Long Road Home Alone is hosted by Jimmy Dantes and Joey Z and produced by Pat Muldoon. Be sure to tune in next time. Don't forget your reading glasses and keep the change, you filthy animals.